Facilities Committee meeting. There's no one signed up for public comments. I'm going to skip the reading of policy 903 for this, so we'll jump right into things. Starting with Mr. Parker, presentation from LPG Group, Energy Consultants. We have Larry here this evening.
Yes, sir.
To assist with that, so I'll let you get started.
Very good. So at a previous meeting, I highlighted the committee on some benefits of the product that LPG Group provided us, costs, paybacks and things, but the board requested some further information, so Mr. Gillen, LPG Group, is here tonight to give us a presentation and a session of question and answers if necessary. I'll turn it over to Mr. Gillen.
Hi, how are you? Start off with the history of the product. This product was invented by a gentleman named Robert Ray. Robert Ray was a rear admiral for the U.S. Navy up until about a year and a half ago. This product, we have a patent on it. Mr. Ray got a patent. There's two ways of wiring the product. One, the Department of Defense has for our nuclear subs. The other one is what Rob Ray has. He's an electrical engineer, graduated out of Syracuse. Like I said, he's a rear admiral. He was in Italy. And he went and just rewired it to this product here today. He then sold the patent to Felsch Engineering out of Cranston, Rhode Island. Felsch Engineering is a 600 plus engineering firm that does forensic engineering. That's where the product is built. Like I said, there's a patent on it, it still has another 22 years. It comes with 3 different technologies. Capacitors, harmonic filters, which are huge anymore, and metal oxide varistors, which are surge and spike protection. There's 3 MOVs per phase that are about the size of my palm, where if you look at one of your little strips here, it's about the size of a pin. So it really does stop, and it's designed to fail. Just at Council Rock High School, we've done all their facilities up there. They had a transformer that dropped a leg. The unit sacrificed itself, they lost no equipment. We've had other incidents like that throughout the country. The unit always works. Now, I'm not going to tell you if you have a lightning strike out here, lightning will find its way until it hits the unit. So that's how we do everything different. We don't do auto bars where we just put them in a main and correct from the main to the transformer. We go throughout the building. That's why you're seeing 15 units. Reactive current, which is K-bar, goes outwards. It does not come back in. So what you want to do is you want to pick up the inductive load, the I2R line loss, and impedance throughout the building because you got miles of wire in here. Great example of that is Upper Dublin School District. Fairly new school, they were losing VFDs. They called me in just to take a look. They had an auto bar. They had a power transformer. So the harmonics looked great at the main, but when you went to the step-down transformers, where they were losing the VFD, at the 240 volt step-down transformer, the power factor was 0.14. Even VFDs had to work so hard to try to make up the difference, it won't wipe them out. And they had a pool in there, and the pool pumps were getting wiped out, which was costing them a fortune. So what we did is we put our units, we staggered them like we do every other job. It was only $30,000. They paid $300 for the auto bar, $1,000. And the auto bar now no longer works. Our units completely took it offline. Same with the PowerSmith transformer. So it's unique, it's fun, I love doing it. We've done just about every school, I think every school district in the state of Delaware. We've done Oxford, Council Rock, which you can call for recommendation. We just did, I'm losing my mind on this stuff. Salisbury, promised them a 4% ROI. They just did their analysis over the first 7 months. They're seeing 12% on KWH and 14% on KW. I always under-promise and over-deliver because if I tell you 9%, it comes in at 8. I'm the biggest jerk out there. If I tell you 4% and I come in at 12, it's a home run, and I got a nice recommendation. We don't have a website. We go just by referrals. And I looked at the rest of your schools. This is what needs it. The rest of them really don't. The ROI isn't there. This school definitely, and the middle school next to it, because it's running off the same transformer, it needs to benefit both. Other than that, I would love to answer any questions anybody has.
Just have one. On the mobs, are they serviceable?
Excuse me?
The mobs, MOVs.
No.
I'm familiar with
No,
them
what
at-
happens
at a
is-
small level.
No, okay, no, what happens is, if something catastrophic comes
Yep.
in and hits it, the indicator light will go off.
Okay.
You call me, you give me that serial number on the unit, I get a replacement unit here within a week. Each unit is custom built to your facility, each one has a different serial number, and we know the location, but if you call me with that serial number, I can get it built quicker. No, once it's out, it's done.
So during that week period, should we be out, what does that do to our electrical service during that week?
Nothing,
Okay.
nothing. That's the great thing about the unit. Let's just say for some reason you drop a leg. The unit's gonna sacrifice itself, it's gonna take everything back out to ground. You're not gonna lose equipment, you're not gonna see it. Now, you definitely want, it'll hold for a little while, but you're definitely gonna wanna shut down motors and everything if you drop a leg. I mean, but what it is especially like, I did Atlantis, down in Bahamas, the whole island in Turks and Caicos. With the brownouts and dropping legs, what the unit does, and I can show you, it's really cool if you wanna come out during one of the installs and actually see it. I can show you the different phases, because when we go on a panel, that unit, it actually has an electronic board in there, and it's balancing your panel. So you'll see 28 volts, 14 volts coming out of the capacitors, and it's trying to balance it. So when you lose a leg, it's trying to make up for it on the other two legs. And it's eventually gonna fail, but, I mean,
Yeah, like I said, I'm familiar with it on the small electronic power supply level, and so I wasn't sure how it, when you go up in scale like this, what that really looks like.
yeah, they're designed, UL gave it a 20-year lifespan. We guarantee it for 10 years. Unless you have something catastrophic happen, you're not gonna eat through the 3 MOVs. Great thing is, and nobody talks about, is the harmonic filters. Your harmonics here are out of control. And that's anything with computers, VFD, LED lighting. LED lighting throws off a harmonic resin. Please Google it. I don't want anybody to take my word or me show you papers. Please Google it. LEDs throw off harmonic resin, which ruin these right here. It'll ruin your whiteboard lights. You'll start seeing lighting go. You'll start seeing drivers go. This actually corrects that. It's the third harmonic and fifth harmonic that we correct. But it prolongs the life of your LEDs, it prolongs the life of the computers. You know, back in the 80s, we didn't have this issue. You know, we didn't have the cell phones, the cell phone chargers, the computers. You didn't have all these DC power things. I love people just to go home tonight when your light's off. Look at all the little lights blinking at you.
Yeah.
They're all DC power. I mean, you know, your refrigerators, microwaves, dishwasher, everything has DC power anymore, but they're not compensating for it. And it's bad, it's heat. It's just like if you have a car and you know, it takes 4 gallons of antifreeze, you only put 1 gallon in there. You go down 95, but sooner or later it's gonna start heating up, it's gonna use more gas until it dies. Same thing with harmonics. It's a ticking time bomb on the system, and if you don't get rid of it, you're gonna have failures. It's not when, it's gonna happen. So anyway, we addressed those 3 points, and that's what we have in your proposal right now.
Can I understand the financials, please? So there are 15 pieces of equipment.
Correct.
10 of the one kind and 5 of the other.
Correct.
Right. Total 96,427.
Yes, sir.
You then show the projected annual savings. Is that the 5% number? Is that what you're showing? You're
Yeah,
showing
that's
projected
how much
savings
would be off your electric
31,000.
bill.
Right,
Yep.
but there's not a guarantee with this product.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a 1-year guarantee. If you don't see that 31,000, that's 5%, I'll give you your money back.
So then there's the 10-year warranty. The
Correct.
10-year warranty is on the equipment,
Correct.
and is that a 10-year guarantee?
Correct.
If we don't save $310,000, you'll.
No, that's on the equipment. I give you a 1 year. I can't tell what you're gonna do to your building. And what I do is, if I see, let's just say 10% reduction in the KVA, I'll cut that number to 5, just because I'm not gonna sit here every night to find out if you have a project. You're gonna sit here and let your auditorium run, put Christmas lights up. I build in all that into this number. And I trust the committee here and the maintenance people. Great example, Speakman Faucets out of Delaware. They make all the faucets for Marriott, right? So Marriott turned me on to them, I went over there and did it. How many shifts are running? We've only ran one shift. I see their electric bills for the last 2 years, they only ran one shift. I based everything on those numbers. First month it was 13%, second month it was 12%, third month it was 14%, fifth month, hey, they used more electric, it was negative. I go up, what's going on? Nothing. I went in there, I'm looking at the units, did the units act, there's something going on, right? Nope, nothing going on. Second month, same thing. You started running 3 shifts. If you're using more electric, you're gonna use more electric. And with this product, you're gonna see the majority of your savings when you're running your AC loads, when you're running your air handlers. That's what capacitance does. We're moving the reactive current from your transformer into the school, closer to the motor load. Example, do we save money on the actual motor? No, absolutely not. If you have a motor, it's designed to run at 25 amps, okay? Output is X. If you don't give it, and that's based on a 99% power factor, 25 amps. If you're only giving it, like you have here, 70%, it's gonna pull 30 amps to still make that X. It has to work harder. So are we making it more efficient? Absolutely. We're making the electric in this facility efficient. We're bringing the power factor up to 9.5 or higher. I believe yours is 9.82. It's going to be ending up at, between the two, at the transformer. So your motor's going to be designed and running the way they're supposed to. Reduces heat. If they're running harder, they produce more heat. Heat kills them. That's where I first met with Council Rock. They had brand new chillers on the roof of Rolling Hills Elementary School. Was losing compressors every 2 months. It was costing them $5 grand. Had to bring a crane out, put the compressor out there, couldn't figure it out. Carrier ended up telling them, we're not warranting them anymore. You're on your own at this point in time. They brought our product in through Airmark at the time. I do all work for Airmark. Any project they do, they send me out first for the initial grade on. So anyway, long story short, we put our units in there. Hasn't lost a compressor in 4 years.
So the first year savings is guaranteed,
Yep.
based on a 5%
Number.
prediction,
Correct.
which you expect it to be higher than that, but you guarantee 5, I understand. I understand the business model. But at 5%, the machines pay back themselves within 30 months.
Correct.
So just over 2.5 years, the payback on this. If we get the 5% return after 10 years, we would save $120,000.
Correct.
Based on your-
So the 10-year warranty includes everything, right? There's nothing else, there's
We replace the
parts or anything?
No, your electrician here, all they have to do is remove the old unit. We want it back. We want to reverse engineer it, and you'll get a report on it of exactly what came in. That's the great thing about the computer that we have in there. It'll tell us what joules came in, what hit. We'll let you know. Believe it or not, that's come in handy a lot, because the utility company denies that there's stuff happening, and we can absolutely verify it is. But all your guy has to do, there's 4 screws, it comes down, take it off the breaker, put the door right back on, send it back to us.
So you're guaranteeing it for 10 years, but what is the life expectancy?
20. 20 years. We've actually had, I'll give you a good example, the old Texas Stadium for the Cowboys. We put units back in there in 1996. We moved the units over to the new stadium and then added another 200 units. So this is something that, okay, 10 years down the line, you guys say, we're going to put it in high school or middle school, we're going to get rid of this one. You can actually move those units to another facility with the numbers and you can add or reduce.
Mr. Harper, you spoke with school districts and used this?
Council Rock specifically, yes, and they were highly recommending of this product and said that it's made a difference in their operations and utility costs.
Do you know how many years they've had?
I'm gonna say at least 3. Do you know offhand?
It's
They
5.
installed it, okay.
Yeah, 5 total.
I know it's been several years.
And do we know whether they've hit their 5%, whatever their target is?
I believe he said they exceeded that.
Right, okay, but they've at least hit their minimum target for the
Yes.
5 years that they've
I
had.
believe the overall 8 schools we started out with, it was a 36-month ROI, and they hit that in 17 months.
Great, thank you.
And we're already at a pace of doing $1 million next year in savings, because he's been graphing this thing like
with this, as far as we've been approached with, I believe there may be, so this is a proprietary product that they have, that they developed. There's probably some other vendors out there, but I don't know their track record, at least this one comes with a track record to say, well, the school districts in the area have used it and they've had success. We haven't done a comparison to see what else is out there that's comparable.
If you find somebody, let me know, because we have a patent. You can buy all 3 of these products and put them on your system. It's gonna cost you 8 times the amount.
Let me ask you this question, you talked about LED lighting,
Mhm.
and is that a negative impact? If we were to do a large scale replacement of our P8 light fixtures, what impact would that have on the system, if any?
If you did that, I'd like to know the lights, the white pages on it. A lot of people don't realize, and the salesman won't even tell you, especially on LEDs. LEDs actually have a power factor. I don't know if anybody's aware of this, okay? Most LEDs power factors, they've gotten better, they're about 8.5. You might see a 9.0. I have never seen one except they're called energy focus lights that are out there that are sitting at 9.5. So if you're doing a major, I'll give you a great example, GSA, Fort Worth, Texas, did an 18,000 light retrofit. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, Dallas Grid is on its own. It's not connected to the US, it's the only grid in the United States that's on its own.
Know about that?
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've dealt with the Texas utilities.
Okay.
in particular.
Encore down there.
Yeah.
Told that now this is, they run the CIA out of there, FBI out of there, I mean, everything's out of this building in Fort Worth. They said, your harmonic's out of control, you get it in control within 30 days or we're turning you off. And they own the grid and they would. So we went down there, and here's another thing with the harmonics. When you're looking at, and you're doing LEDs, I'm just gonna throw some stuff out here because I've gotten too much into this. When you're reading their specs are on one light on a bench test, okay? Now, when you're holding them to a guarantee, check it. Because if they're running 15 or 30 lights on a fixture, you're gonna see that it was supposed to be whatever, pulling 6 watts. You're gonna see the furthest one down, it's probably pulling 16 to 18 watts. Because it wasn't designed to do that. And there's a nice flute you guys could buy if you wanna improve that too, I can get you. You sit there and you can just test the lights, but you wouldn't believe how off they are when you're doing your M&V.
Mr. Harper, this impacts which buildings?
It's the high school and North Middle School only, I believe.
So it's just this campus.
Correct.
And Mr. Dahlberg, if we look at this from a bid standpoint, this is below the threshold because of the individual units, there are individual costs here. We have to take this to bid based on this.
This is the Co-Stars product,
Oh,
I
it's
believe.
co-stars, okay, thank you.
So why is it only cost effective to do this for the high school and the middle schools?
So I think it's about the payback.
It's all about the payback. I've had other school districts like Liberty in Texas, where they're out in the middle of nowhere, and their power's horrible. So they didn't even care about payback. They wanted a unit at the main to protect them, which is fine. You can do that. What I was always look at is I try to get a payback under 3 years to do a job. I want to do the low-hanging fruit, see it, feel it, taste it. After this, if you guys want to look at the other schools, there will be a payback. It's just not going to be, again, 3 to 5 years.
I was gonna say that this was the conversation starter, and then we would look at the middle schools next. Elementary schools, there's a smaller potential savings there, but this would be the biggest savings, and then we could look at South, Central as well to see what kind of money would be saved there. It'd be something, it's just, this is the big low-hanging fruit, if you will.
I'll give you a great,
There's no increased cost to add central later. It's not like waiting is going to be more expensive than
No.
central
Correct.
than it is, okay.
give you a great example. Welsh Elementary for Council Rock, I gave them 2 units for that school. They put it on an addition, and it was undersized cable going to the addition. Anytime you have and that's what you see. A lot of people do AC retrofits, chiller retrofits. You're upgrading your chiller, but you're not changing the wire. Well, what is crappy? That's all heat. And you have it. That's what they had for a whole addition at Welsh. and they were losing equipment left and right. So I put 2 units on there just to take the heat off the system. And I've had to replace 2 units, I think, 3 times already. But they've not lost equipment anymore. So the price of the units, now they bought them the second time, just because they didn't lose them for a year and a half, they were happy. I mean, the cost was nil compared to what they were losing. But I get it, if you're just putting an addition on, you're not gonna run that wire, and, you know, under concrete and everything else, you're just gonna reuse it.
Any other questions? How do we feel about moving this forward?
I'm surprised to see that there would be a significant difference between North and Central.
Physically here, there's one transformer which is on the rear side of North that feeds this entire campus. So I think based on its power factor that they've read, that's probably the lowest compared to the others,
So
so.
North isn't a standalone.
No,
So it doesn't
it's a
compare to
campus.
Central because it's the campus.
That's correct.
That makes more sense.
About the schools.
I don't think that's a factor, I believe that's on there, but the units actually get installed in the buildings.
Correct. And what we do is we can start, and that's what we looked at when we came down here. We want to get the furthest point from the main, furthest electrical room possible, and then we stagger the units throughout the building. That way your reactive current is always searching out inductive load, and your harmonic filters, I use active filters in this job, so the active filters are searching out for the harmonics. And you want to stagger them back. That way if, you know, again, your air conditioning loads, chiller rooms, you want to get the reactive current as close as possible to that. But again, with the filters, harmonics, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you correct harmonics, you correct power factor. So what you want to do is you want to try to correct all the harmonics to increase the power factor so you can use less capacitors. A normal capacitor that you can buy dirt cheap, they fail within a year. Best capacitor in the world lasts you 2 years. It's because every time something kicks off, and these things even in your, I'll just use your house as a reference, your refrigerator kicks on, your air, it degrades the capacitor. Harmonics act like a sink for a capacitor, wipes it out. Your harmonics here is over 30%. It should be under 5. So that's why you wouldn't just go and throw a straight capacitor in on this job. It wouldn't last you a year.
So Sean, your suspicion is right. The district support center is fed from that transformer. Just there's central chillers in this building and at North. They just have small rooftop units to do the office areas. So there's not a big consumption of electricity there. I think that's why it wasn't proposed to do that building at this point.
This was the low hanging fruit because of the ROI. And get your feet wet, see the product.
Let's assume it's out. Okay, moving forward.
Kick me out.
Thank you.
Very nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
See you.
You're welcome to stay, but, you know, might want to visit your daughter.
That's gonna hurt me. Y'all have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is obsolete items. All right, Mr. Goldberg.
So at the high school, we have some magazine displays out of the library that are no longer being used. They're still in pretty good condition, so we're gonna put them on public surplus. At the transportation department, we replaced our tire changer in this year's budget. Got a very decent equipment there. We're gonna put that on public surplus. We also have a list of various obsolete parts. There at the transportation department that were just from bus models and so forth that we don't have anymore. So the parts, we're just gonna put them on public surplus and sell those parts. Next one we have is our district-wide music department. These are all instruments that need repairs, and the repair costs are exceed the value of the instrument. So we are going to put those in public surplus, and we replace those through our annual budget for music instruments. Then at Sellersville Elementary, there's a piano that's in poor condition, no longer being used, so we're going to out on public surplus, see if we can sell that. In the nutritional services department, we have 8 POS cafeteria registers, 6 of them are from the high school, 2 of them from North. They're obsolete and they are in fair work condition, and they are being recycled. And then we have at Central Middle School, a return side desk and teleboard. The teleboard is non-functioning in poor condition. We're gonna recycle that. But the return side desk is no longer being used for that, for the return buses. Sell that. And then the last thing we have is Dodler, the library meeting log for the year, 4 boxes of obsolete books, and we put those on public service.
The point of service pieces, are those the ones that were installed originally when this campus was renovated? No, but that's not crucial, I just was wondering, because that's been 13 years ago, basically, more or less. I wonder what lifetime it was.
Facilities, committee meeting scheduled for October 8th.
Any public comment?
All right, so we are adjourned. We're gonna take 5 minutes. We'll take 5 minute break. On Main Street.